don't listen to Warren Buffett videos. By the way, a lot of people who went for these philosophies of Buffett, they lost a lot of money. 1 crore house will have a 1 lakh EMI, but it will get you a rent of 30,000-40,000. A very controversial input here. Don't listen to Warren Buffett videos on YouTube. Don't get me wrong here. He's the wisest man in the investment world. I'm talking about the videos that circulate in the name of Warren Buffett. His style of investing is very different. His level of investing is very different. He started in his teens with probably a penny. And he is among the most patient people in the world. We all are not. Also, there are a lot of fallacies attached with him that he never sells, he just buys, he invest into companies, he doesn't invest into tech. By the way, a lot of people who went for these philosophies of Buffett, they lost a lot of money by not investing in tech because in the 2000s, around the bubble burst time, it was famous that Warren Buffett doesn't invest in tech. So people for decades never invested in tech. And they never made money because tech is what went through the roof after the tech bubble burst. And they just said, okay, Warren Buffett does not invest into tech. Today, if you look at his portfolio, about 50% of his portfolio is just one stock, Apple, the largest tech company in the world, probably. And he does invest in tech now. And he invested in last few years around pandemic. He owns about 10% of Apple. So his philosophies change from time. He will never knock on your door and tell me, hey, we have changed our philosophy. We are now investing in this sector or this stock. So you please change your mind. They will never tell you. You realize after years that, hey, Buffett changed his philosophy with the market. I never came to know and I never made money or I lost money. He will never tell you when he sells the stocks. He buys a lot of bonds. He keeps a lot of cash. His philosophy does not work for general investor. Yes, you can borrow a few things from him. For example, I'm a big fan of learning from him where he says that he will never buy a stock that does not give dividend. I'm a good believer of it. I do buy stocks for different reasons, but I don't invest into long-term stocks which will never give it a dividend. So you can borrow a leaf out of his book, you can learn from him, but don't follow blindly the videos and the books that circulate in his name. They will not make money for you. In fact, they may end up misguiding you. Pandemic time created the YouTube creator economy, and a lot of them are fantastic. Just note one thing, take it with a pinch of salt, and I take example of probably my guru in this area, from whom I learned the very basics, and from the reason why I ended up being in this investment world. Robert T. Kiyosaki, he buys a lot of real estate, and he buys apartments, and then he basically uses debt from the apartments to buy more. He rents them out, and he has bought 15,000 apartments probably. You can't start doing that in India for the simple reason that in the United States, typically the yield in terms of your rental income from an apartment is somewhere equatable to your EMI. So over time, when you start to prepay the loan or refinance the loan and make the EMI come down a bit, you start ending up with a positive cash flow. But in India, typically a 1 crore house will have a 1 lakh EMI, but it will get you a rent of 30,000-40,000. You will not even break even ever on rentals. So for rental purpose, unless you bought the property way earlier, or you took land, built apartments on it, and then started renting them out, it's not gonna work. Similarly, there are a lot of influencers who talk about businesses like laundromats, cleaning cars, and so on. In India, no one is going to take their laundry to a laundromat in a rented machine and wash it. They'll wash it by hand, they'll hire a maid, they will buy a cheap machine, but no one is going to carry a bucket load to a nearby laundromat and do it. Those businesses will not make sense in your geography. So make sure whatever you are listening, take it with a pinch of salt, whether that idea applies. Learn the concept, learn the idea of passive income, learn the idea of having multiple income streams. That is a wonderful thought. But don't try and just start. So, okay, what is the matter? Let me just put 50,000 in it. Let's try. There's no harm in trying out, but don't go for business models that are not even sustainable in your economy, in your country, in your city, in your locality. That will not make you money. Earlier this year, I completed a product management course from one of the most renowned universities in the world. And I would say that I learned a lot from that course. But one thing I was really disappointed with was that the course contained significant content which was shot pre-pandemic. And we all know that pandemic reinvented the entire global economy. Online became a fad. Amazon became super successful. People started buying stuff online. The footprints to malls and shops reduced. People reinvented businesses. A lot of new product categories were created. A lot of product categories died. I was wondering how come the university or the institute, which is one of the top ones in the world, believes that the product management videos they thought, the concept they taught in their classrooms, say in 2017, 18, they would be applicable in 2022. They charged me few lakh rupees and sold me 5-year-old content. Now, I obviously just discarded the one that was not applicable. But a lot of us will consume those videos and think like 2018. That will actually put us behind in some ways. Don't buy expensive MBAs, certifications, courses from Indian or foreign institutes. One more problem I had was I have studied a couple of IIMs and I have gained a lot of knowledge from them. I would not even remember the subjects I learned from there, but over years I have done those courses. One big problem I had was dialect. Professors had a very deep, distinct dialect. India has so many languages, dialects, everyone will have them. When you are creating online content, why do you have to do it on your own voice? Unless in general 80-90% people can understand it. If only people of your state, which is about 4-5% of the population, can understand it, why can't you hire someone, especially if your institute, which is like a big IIM or some other institute, why can't they hire content creators who can work with the knowledgeable professors? By the way, I have full trust in the knowledge of those professors. They are fantastic in their domain, probably the best. Help content creators create the content, put your name on it, put it online, let students like me learn, and let the assimilation be high. Let me learn better in dialect which is more suitable for me. Make sure you do your due diligence. Don't just say, okay, it is just 2 3 lakh, 4 lakh rupees, 10 lakh rupees. Oh, it is XYZ institute in US. If you are studying there in person, it may add a lot of value. But doing an online course, burning lakhs, spending, say, an year's worth of salary or a few months of salary may not help you too much. I've done it for a perspective. I've got my perspective. Has it changed my life? No. Has it add value? Yes. Would I advise someone with little money to do it? No. So use your discretion. Do them when you have spare money, when you can afford, when it is maybe a month or 2 months salary. Maybe do it at that stage.